The housing market in this state is dysfunctional, and it's not an accident. The outworking of that is the fact that the majority of renters don't want to be renters. Most want to purchase their own home. Others need the security and fair rent that a council house brings. The motion that Eoin Ó Broin has brought before this House calls for a break for those who are renting. It calls for a 3-year ban on rent increases. It calls for the cost of a month's rent to be returned to renters, and it calls for adequate standards of rental property to be enforced. Let the record show that Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Green Party TDs intend to vote against these proposals. Their response to the housing crisis is more of the same, with new fancy packaging. A shared equity scheme that everybody who has examined it objectively has said will actually increase the cost of homes. An affordable housing scheme that believes that affordable includes €450,000 properties. The continued expenditure of billions on subsidies to private landlords. Ongoing scandalous tax avoidance measures for vultures and other parasites of the financial services industry. None of that is an accident. It is government policy led by an ideology that believes that speculators and bankers should not just be allowed but encouraged to dominate the housing market, while young workers today can expect a future whereby home ownership will never be more than an aspiration. With rents too high to save a deposit, with investment funds ready to buy up the limited supply that does make it on the market, with mortgage rates far too high for those who do manage to buy a house, and the vultures again waiting, ready to pounce as soon as they get into any difficulty, and with the ongoing faith that the private sector will resolve the problem that was created by housing policy being handed over to the private sector in the first place, where even public land is handed over to private developers, and where no matter what, the obvious and proven long-term solution, the building of public homes on public lands, is avoided at all costs, except in the most limited, tokenistic way conceivable. The housing crisis, Laskin Corla, is not an accident. It is government policy. And only a government with the correct policies can resolve it. Only a government with the determination, the commitment and the principles can turn the tide. This motion sets out Sinn Féin's first steps to support our renters, and that too is not an accident. It is a signal that better policies are coming.